Welcome to the Political Power Hour with your host, former congressional candidate, retired federal agent, and three-time author, Michael Vilardi, highlighting today's political hot topics with the most interesting political candidates in the 2022 election. The most hard-hitting political commentary on the air today. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to tonight's show. I'm your host, Mike Vilardi. We got another great show for you. First, before we get started, I got to say thank you for Dan Francis for winning the primary. Congratulations to Dan. We have a great candidate with us tonight, Dorcas Hernandez. Welcome to the show, the Political Power Hour. Great to have you.
Hello, Michael. Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. So she is running in a state house race, and I'm going to give her the opportunity to tell us who you are, what you've done, and what your campaign's all about.
Well, this is an excited season. We just passed the primary. We have big victories in all our county and the state. And now I'm Dorcas Hernandez running for State House District 92. I'm the new voice for the people. I'll now be the new voice for our district and our Palm Beach County to be represented in Tallahassee.
Excellent. Well, you know what? You were an immigrant that came to this country.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So you became a citizen a few years ago, and you really have a love for this country and the political process, don't you?
I do 100%. I'm so proud to be an American. I was born and raised in Peru, and I was the oldest daughter of my parents, who are pastors and ministers in Peru. Then my father became a senator for 10 years in Congress in Lima, Peru. I had the opportunity to be his campaign manager, and it was exciting just to see how we can make an impact. Little after that, I moved to the United States, thank God. I came with a wide, big door open, and it was one of the excitement to become a U.S. citizen. Did you know the most excited time of my life was to have the ceremony and become American citizen. And finally, I can be involved 100% as a patriot, as a love for this nation, who have God put a blessing in this great nation to be a new voice for our voters.
Well, you know, we need more immigrants like you, Dorcas. We really do, and that's an honor and a moment. I've been to those ceremonies, and they're tremendous. And congratulations on what you've accomplished. And I give you a lot of credit for running for this race. Tell me about why you picked this particular seat and what your platform is.
It's interesting. I have never been in the political field as a figure in the political field, but I've been a leader. I've been a leader for 20 years of my life. I have held different important positions of leadership. I've been mentored by very high qualified political people around the world, mainly from this great nation. And it's just so excited that I can be part of what we're looking for, to keep America safe, to keep our values which our founding father have established in the Constitution. And I just want to make sure that we save those values back to America. It's so important for us.
So you're a conservative constitutionalist, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Right. And you're running in a largely Democratic district, is that correct?
That is correct. That's interesting because District 92 is a new district after the redistrict of all the states that we just had. It's a new seat that was open, and I have the opportunity to step in and run unopposed in my primary under my ticket. And it was wonderful to see now that we are going straight to November 8th, and we have to keep Florida free, keep our governor in the seat, and keep going for where we establish in Florida.
So take a minute to tell our audience where they can reach out to you on the web, what social media you have, and more importantly, how they can help you win this race and take back the seat.
Thank you. Michael, let me tell you a little something. If anybody would like to take a moment, go in their mobile phones or computer, they can look on my website, dorcashernandez.com. At the same time, I have all the social media platforms, Twitter, I have Facebook, I have Instagram, and all the new platforms there. Just look up for Dorcas Hernandez, candidate for District 92. At the same time, you will see a little videos, clips, bio of who I am, where I come from, where are my values, and where I'm standing. At the same time, you can click on the button. Make sure that you make sure that you're part of my team. We can be at canvases, door knocking, of course. Donations are very welcome. No minimum and all max is all money is welcome because we have a great race to run. Also, you can be part of the volunteers to make phone calls and to pass our flyers and to just get to know our neighbors. I've been enjoying door knocking, enjoying meet my neighbors. Even so, we have a different point of view, but we are on the same page to save our nation, to keep Florida free, and to keep establish our great values in America.
Well, when you go door knocking, what are you hearing from the people whose doors you knock on? What are they saying to you?
Very interesting. The number one is safety. For some reason, in our district has become very vulnerable to crime. And it's very interesting because it's something that have never happened before. So now we have to make sure that we are part of the police enforcement, first responders, to back them up in everything they have, and we'll keep our district safe. Then it's very interesting the concern of the parents on the school education about the indoctrination and not educating our children. And that's something that is very close to my heart. I'm a mother of 2 teenagers and I'm raising a family, and those indoctrinations in the schools is a very complex, but we have to stand as parents, as grandparents, as citizens. They want to care to have a future in our nation, to make sure that the best education is established and no indoctrination in our school system.
Boy, that is tough. I mean, I think what happened with the police department is that the defund police movement has affected how our law enforcement officers respond to crime. And not so much here, but certainly in places like New York City, you could see that crime is absolutely running rampant. And that's something we have to get a hold of and we have to correct. And do you have any issues? Let me ask you a question. I mean, you're a legal immigrant.
Yes,
okay?
that is
now
correct.
You're a citizen.
Yes.
But has illegal immigration become an issue with the people who you talk to?
Well, it's interesting because we have a governor who has put his foot down about the illegal immigrants coming to our state. However, it's so difficult and complex because we are open the doors to a very high crime in different ways, and very difficult with the drugs coming in, human trafficking, and all what is happening. So it is a very serious point. It's very difficult, but we need to make sure that we keep our state safe, our district safe, and mainly our families and our home, and protect all the ones that we love the most.
Now, the person you're running against, tell us a little about your opposition.
Well, it's interesting now that the primaries have passed. Officially, I know is Ms. Kelly Skidmore, and I'm looking forward to just have a good race, and then I will definitely be willing to have a conversation with her if we can do the best for our district, but at the same time, I know very well that I can be a good race for winning my seat.
And what differentiates you from her the most?
It's interesting. I'm the new voice for the people. I'm the new voice and the new face in our district. And that's who I am. I will bring new leadership. I will bring a new voice. I will stand for the values of our nation, and I will take care of the ones that are in the most need. And that's who I am.
Good. And what did you think of the primaries that just passed, with the people that won and with the people that lost, and just some of the local races?
That's
if you want to comment on any of those.
We live in a democracy, and we are free to run an election time. And the most important thing is that we have to get out to vote. It's so important for us to get out to vote and be involved in the election process. That way we have a say and we have a voice what the election is about, who we electing in our public service, and it's our civic duty. I truly enjoy being involved in the election. I was so excited to just get in the day of election, August 23rd, just go cast my vote, make sure I did my vote count in every single race, and that's how I will leave it. It's so important that everyone in this state will go out to vote.
Well, you know, I agree with you 100%. I was a little disappointed in the Republican turnout. The Democrats turned out a lot more than we did for some of these primaries, and we can't have that in November.
That is correct.
Because if Republicans don't get out there and vote, we could possibly lose Ron DeSantis, and we can't have that. We cannot have that. Okay. All right. So we're running out of time before we have to go to a commercial break. I want to give you the last minute to tell our audience anything you'd like about how they could support you and why they should vote for you. And
thank you, Michael. Well, I sure appreciate if you can go to my website. I'm easy to be reached. I will respond in the emails or the contact directly. Please visit dorcashernandez.com, and I'll be happy to get to know you as my new voter. I'll be the new voice in Tallahassee. And make sure that this November 8th, we go out to vote. It's so important that we go and re-elect our governor, who have done an incredible job. And as well, we continue to choose and pick the leadership who will represent our values, and the most important, to keep our state free.
thank you for appearing on the show.
Thank you, Michael.
It was a pleasure having you. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
You're an incredible woman, and you've done a lot coming to America, becoming a citizen, and now running for office. That says a lot about you.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best. All right, so we're gonna be going to a commercial break right now, and when we come back, we're gonna have Ed Lynch, political analyst and consultant, with us, and he'll be here for 40 minutes. Thank you.
Text alert! Text alert!
I was receiving letter after letter from the IRS.
I got Mike Vilardi on the phone and I said, Mike, I got a problem.
He took the pressure off my shoulders.
He just made me feel like I had Superman on my side.
Trust me, he's the man to go to.
IRS problems? I'm Mike Vilardi, enrolled agent. I can help. My company, Winning Tax Solutions, has always gotten our clients the best possible results. Visit us at winningtaxsolutions.com or call us today.
If your family is suffering from inflation and high costs caused by Lois Frankel's reckless policies, Republican Dan Franzese is clearly your best choice for Congress. Dan is a successful businessman who understands finance and economics. He's not a politician. Dan grew up blue collar and knows how tough inflation is on working families. Dan Franzese will go to Washington and fight the liberals who are killing us with inflation. Dan Franzese for Congress.
I'm Dan Franzese, and I approve this message.
You've been watching the Political Power Hour with Mike Vilardi. For more information, email us at mikevilardi@gmail.com. That's Vilardi with one L. And now, back to the show.
Great. Welcome back to the show. I have not only a friend, but a great political analyst. Ed is a guy who probably has never been wrong on a political race. One of the few people who really has his hand on the hot button, so to speak. So, Ed Lynch, welcome to the Political Power Hour. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thanks, bud. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Yes, you're welcome. So, I brought Ed on so he could give us his insight into the primaries, which we just had. And so, Ed, I want you to go through the different races and just tell us what happened and why, and give us some insight.
Well, locally, I guess we're talking local.
Absolutely.
We had terrible voter turnout, Republican
We did.
side.
It was terrible,
I mean,
yes.
when you look
Yes.
at Democrats and Republicans, there's about 42% Republicans versus Democrats at 58% in the county. We had 38% in the primary, Republican versus Democrats.
Yeah.
And so just terrible job. The leadership we have here is terrible. They have no clue what they're doing. They couldn't put a strategy together to save their life. And, you know, we wind up having races that show it. Yeah. Florida got 31 school board seats. And, you know,
Right.
yeah, Palm Beach County, big goose egg.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. They're really great at that. Then we've got a lot of clowns here. that nice people, don't get me wrong, you know, I'm facetious and I say all these
I know
things.
that. I know.
I call it like I see it.
I know.
But the deal is, when you got candidates going out there and saying, oh, I'm still the congressperson. That's up in CD 11.
Of course, Laura Loomer,
but she ran
right,
down
exactly.
here. You look like
Exactly.
an idiot.
She
I mean,
is,
she does. I'm
absolutely.
sorry to
She-
put
she-
it that way, but it
you
is
have to
what
be
it is.
Sorry, she is who she is.
We
exactly.
got someone that ran
It's
in a
foolish,
primary
right?
here in the Republican CD 18,
Right.
and she's just bitter and angry, and no, there must have been cheating, there must have been fraud. There was no fraud. There was a certain amount of people that were anti the incumbent.
Right.
By the way, the incumbency is the most powerful thing in politics.
It absolutely
The
is.
the most powerful election slogan that's ever been invented is the word reelect.
Right.
94 to 97% of the time, guys that are in office
Right.
get reelected.
That's the truth.
And to sit there and you're shooting yourself in the foot for the future if you want to have any political career at all. And
Yeah.
she's just complaining it's voter fraud. No, there's so many people that are anti the incumbent.
Right.
And what happens is you wind up getting all of that vote unless someone else jumps in, which someone else did.
Right.
And when they did, you split that anti-incumbent vote,
Right.
and you get what you get, and that's it. So move on with life. Don't get your supporters all pissed off that they can't come out in the general, and you wind up shooting yourself in the foot. You're running against a guy that voted with Trump 94% of the time. So if you say you're a conservative, I mean, 94% is a good number. And then we got a race here with another person.
Yes.
I meet with a lot of candidates.
I know you did.
I met with you when you ran.
Of course you did, and I'm glad to have that you supported me and were
yeah,
there for me.
I mean, it's crazy. You know, the one candidate, she's getting all pissed off that she lost this race and it's fraud. It's not
Right.
fraud.
Exactly.
Someone came in after the fact. Yeah, he's not going to win. And, you know, the general, it just is what it is. I mean, you know, this cycle I was wrong 0 times. I'd love to think that I'm so brilliant at it.
Right.
It's not. Politics is so simple. And you get candidates come in and want to reinvent the wheel. And it's not going to happen.
Well, what do we need to do to take some of these congressional seats? One seat in particular, the one that Joe Budd won.
Yeah.
Okay, he won with 60% of the vote.
Yeah, Moskowitz's going to win that one hands down. I mean, it's overwhelmingly Democrat, and you can't be a pro-Trump guy that's so pro-Trump. I mean, you have Trump 45. You
Right.
can't be that Trumpian and then be able to pull votes from the middle, which you have to, because most of the NPAs are Democrat anyway,
Yeah,
and you're
that's
not
true.
going to pull any Democrats at all. And so since more Democrats and NPAs who are Democrats will come out and vote in that election, if you're not pulling any of them, you're going to lose, even if every Republican came out and voted. In that race in particular, more Democrats voted for Moskowitz, just him, than Republicans voted for all of the other candidates combined.
Wow.
So, I mean,
Wow.
you know, you're going to have to do something and think outside of the box, and you got to get voter turnout. But here in Palm Beach County, leadership is so weak that they cannot get people to come out and vote. And there has never been a race won by a Democrat in Palm Beach County and Broward County, never once, where, and this is somewhat facetious in that it's never going to happen,
Right.
but where if every single registered Republican came out and voted for the Republican, that the Republican would not have won that race. Now, clearly, that's
Right.
not going to happen.
Of course.
But, you know, you got to give it a shot here. And our guys
Absolutely.
have no clue what to do, and, you know, so that's
Well-
why I just do my thing.
Well, let me ask you this. What do they need to do to make it happen? What would you do if you were put in that position to make it happen?
If I'm ever in that position, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I consult for a lot of people, and
Right.
you know, I don't charge anybody for anything.
I know
give
that.
all the
I
advice.
know that.
And I mean, this cycle, again, we were wrong 0 times. Last cycle, I lost 2 elections. I knew I was going to lose them, but I like the people, and I wanted to help them out anyway.
Right.
It's not rocket science what we need to do. The real answer, and I'll tell even leadership this,
Okay.
and Ron's got to get on board with this, and he's not, the governor.
Okay.
You got to VBM it. You're going to have to go out and play the game. You can't sit there and keep playing checkers against people that are playing chess.
Right.
And that's what we do. And so if you want an opportunity at actually getting some conservatives in, and not crazy over the top conservatives and constitutionalists, the problem with Republicans that we have generally throughout the country is, and especially here,
Right.
is that my candidate is not whatever it is enough, and they can't
Right.
come out and vote. Trump would have never won 2016, ever.
Right.
But Democrats did what Republicans do every election cycle. And what Democrats did in that election cycle against Trump, Hillary was winning hands down.
Right.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But the Bernie supporters would
Right.
not cross over and vote for Hillary. They stayed home. And what happened? Trump won. Otherwise, they would have cheated then. I mean, it is what it is.
Of course.
So,
exactly.
and that's what we need to understand is when it comes to the general election here, we need all of the people in the primary. And I ran against someone once that told me, actually, I was out of the country on a mission doing something, and I had someone step in for me, and they said, well, would you support Edward Lynch if he won and when I won the primary? And the idiots are like, no. I mean, and again, I speak, it is what it is.
Right.
But you can't do that because there will be people that will be bitter on your side, and if we're to have a chance, especially in these counties,
absolutely.
I mean, Palm Beach and Broward is really bad. But if we were to have a chance, you need to get everyone on board, and then those people need to go into overdrive and get more people on board. And it doesn't happen. And I've been doing this now for over a decade, and it's not rocket science. And I watch people shoot themselves in the foot over and over again.
Yeah, something has to change because we have to take more seats than we are. I mean, we're getting killed.
Well, look, there's 4 seats, and here's the dirty little secret here in Florida. There's 4 seats that Republicans don't go after. Why? Because we get all the other seats for the most part. And so there's kind of an unspoken deal, and you can ask Karen over Loomer's campaign. She knows the deal. It's an unspoken deal here in Florida where we're not really going to put anyone serious up against those seats, and no one's seriously going to run for those seats. I mean, it's almost impossible to win them. The last cycle, first you got one of the most black districts in probably in the nation, but definitely in Florida. And we got a guy, the first guy's named Muscle White. I mean, not for nothing, they weren't voting for him. And then the second guy looks like a white supremacist with freaking sleeves, and his wife is wearing a freaking Confederate flag Daisy Duke shorts. And you think you have a shot? I mean, we don't put anyone serious up. And so what's going to happen? We're just going to keep losing and losing and losing.
You know what? Let me just comment on that. I was shocked by that because he was a convicted felon who could not have been seated in Congress if he won the seat.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of things that couldn't be, and they wind up being. We got someone that ran for school board, and here's talk about weak leadership here. She runs for school board. She uses her mom's address as her address to run because that's the district that she's in, yet she signed a mortgage document that said that she was going to have residency outside of the district with her boyfriend. So they signed together saying that they were going to live there. So there's only 2 options that there were with her. She's either guilty of voter fraud or mortgage fraud. She can pick whichever one she wants. But either way, she shouldn't be in that seat. What did Republicans do here in Palm Beach County? Big pile of unguts. They did nothing. You've got the chairman is an attorney. The parliamentarian's an attorney. File a freaking lawsuit. Do something. Pretend that you're going to fight or that you want to win. But these guys don't want to. As long as there's a tarmac or a book signing or something like that, a rah-rah event, we are great at having those things. You want to win elections? We suck at it here.
Well, that's one of the ways. When I worked with the IRS, I never lost a case. In my 22 years, one of the reasons you just hit on it, it was either mortgage fraud or tax evasion.
Yeah.
Because you look at the tax returns, you see what they filed with the bank, and there was a lot of times they were very inconsistent.
Yeah, and just pick one. But here, that was a slam dunk. We did nothing. So you say, what do we have to do to win? We have to grow a set. I mean, that's literally what we have to do is get up there. And if we're gonna have people fighting us, we got to fight back.
Yes, we do.
And not January 6th bullcrap. Right. That's all crap.
Right.
But and Democrats are doing a great job right now. The best thing that happened to them in this primary, because the country is doing terrible. As far as economics goes.
Absolutely,
and I don't need my master's in finance to understand that we are doing horribly financially. Trade, we're doing horrible. Internationally, we're doing horrible. We are doing horrible with the border. We are getting killed in everything. Best thing that ever happened to Democrats was Roe v. Wade being overturned. And quite frankly, Ruth Bader Ginsburg said that it should have never been ruled that way. And for them to make a stretch with the 14th Amendment, seriously, it should have never gone that way anyway. But the truth of the matter is that's the best thing that happened to Democrats this election cycle.
It gives them something to run on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would have had zero.
Yeah, I mean, you get Biden out there saying, hey, look, gas prices came down. Oh, I'm sorry. You jacked them up $10 a gallon, and then it comes down $2 a gallon, and you want us to say thank you. I guess so.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, he basically depleted the strategic reserve.
Yeah.
Which,
Well, sent it to China.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what kills
Right,
me.
right.
So you're not even using it here, which is what it's supposed to do.
Exactly.
And no, there's so many, and I do a lot
So
of
many.
policy talks
Yeah.
and everything else. So many things are going against Democrats. This should be a slam dunk for Republicans.
It should be.
But they are just doing everything they can to beat the crap out of themselves and shoot each other in the foot.
all right, let's take a little bit of a turn here. What was your opinion on the warrant on Donald Trump's home here in Mar-a-Lago?
Well, it's political. It's
course
all political. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And for anyone to pretend that it's not political,
Right.
I mean, that's just pure stupidity. And people can't be that stupid. But apparently,
There are.
the people that are saying it are not that
Right.
stupid.
Right.
The people that are listening to them and believing it, they're that stupid.
Right.
Of course, they're going to put a warrant out there because look, for anyone that doesn't get it,
Mm-hmm.
the whole reason this is happening, there's two reasons and two reasons only. Number one is to make it so that Trump cannot win again because
Right.
now he's pissed off. He gets back in office.
Right.
This time, maybe he's going to do what he should have done the first time and
Right.
say the phrase that he always said, "You're fired."
Right.
He didn't do it because he thought he wanted to play nice and be a nice guy, and he should never have done that. The second reason that they're doing this
Right.
is because they want to make sure that when Ron, if he runs,
Right.
that he knows, Ron, you screw this thing up. You go in like Trump did, and we're going to give you the Trump treatment.
Right.
And that's what it's going to be known as from here on out. They're going to go after you. They're going to send the IRS after you, 87,000 new IRS
Right.
agents. Look at what they just signed on March 9th, the 14067, the executive order, which is going to get rid of the currency as we have it now.
Oh, yes,
So
it's
what
a
do you think about the 87,000 people are going to do? We know what they're going to do.
Right.
So, they're just going to make sure, Ron, if you run or anyone else in the future, look, you're going to play the game. You're going to go in a swamp, you're going to get a bit wet, and you're going to enjoy yourself. You're going to make a ton of money in the stock market. You're going to be thinking that you're so important, people are going to kiss your butt because you're a congressman, you're a senator.
Right.
When these people fail to understand they are our public servants.
That's exactly
They
right.
should be kissing our butt, not the other way around.
Right.
Mr. Congressman, Mr. Senator. Seriously? You're a jackass.
Right.
You got your ass kicked every day in high school, and now you've said, I'm going to get mine someday, and this is yours.
Right.
That's half these guys that are in office.
That's
I
true.
think what we need to do, put a freaking octagon in the middle of the well in Congress and let bills be settled that way. Because it's about time people understood that there should be consequences for their stupidity and for the things that they're doing to other people. This is a sin what's going on in our country
is.
right now.
It is.
We are hurting the futures of families, businesses,
Right.
children. We're seeing this wokeness crap and this
Right.
garbage
It's
being put
ridiculous.
out there, and they're doing it for the sake of their own power, for the
Yep.
sake of their own political careers, and they're willing to jeopardize the futures of families and businesses. And I think that's absolutely disgusting.
I agree, and I think that's why term limits are so necessary. I mean, when FDR became president 4 times in a row, they decided they had to make term limits for the president. I don't know why they didn't term limit congressmen and senators also, because that's what's necessary.
Well, you know who has the vote on that. So who voted on
Well,
it
of course, of course.
for FDR
Right.
was
Congress,
Congress.
yeah, right.
So who would have to vote on for Congress? So you're going to get a
Right.
guy to say, no, I'm for term limits, but not my term limits. And that's what these guys do. But it's interesting you brought up FDR, and this is one of the
Right.
biggest problems that we have. FDR, no one knew the guy's in a wheelchair. No one
Right.
knew he was a cripple.
Right.
So, and why? Because the media was complacent. What do we
Right.
have now? The media is complacent. It's the
Absolutely.
same thing. They're a shill for their agenda that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not conspiracy theory. It really isn't. People out there conspire to do bad things. A guy wants to rob a bank. He conspires to rob a bank.
Exactly.
A guy wants to go hold someone up and steal a car. He's conspiring to do that. People conspire to do bad things all the time. And just so happens that, people in office conspire to do bad things at our expense all the time. And it is. Just look at the bills. They're all out there for people to see.
Exactly.
But when the media won't
Exactly.
tell you about it, then you got to look it up yourself. And quite frankly, I don't hold the people necessarily 100% responsible, which is why I do what I do.
Right.
Because I'm a schmuck. I get 3.5 hours sleep a night. I wake up every morning, 3:30 in the morning, and I read stuff like a wonk.
Right.
Because I want to inform people of what's really going on. But people are just out there trying to make ends meet. I mean, when you got gas, $5 a gallon,
Exactly.
$4 a gallon, they're worried about, bread's gone up 17%.
Right.
Chicken's gone up 31%. I mean, when you can't get diapers, you can't get formula.
Exactly.
Remember we had COVID, you can't get
Right.
toilet paper.
Right,
One of the
exactly.
symptoms was not that you had a massive diarrhea explosion attack every 2 seconds, yet for some reason you could not get toilet paper. Who the heck knows why? I mean, it's crazy what goes on, and people just need to know the truth, which is why we have the podcast, The Primal
Right,
Truth.
exactly.
I just want people to know, here's the truth. Call me a liar, call me a fibber, call me whatever you want, but look up the stuff yourself.
Exactly.
And you'll see, look up 14067, Executive Order 14067,
Right.
signed
Change the
March
currency.
9th of this year.
Yep.
And you will see that each of the departments had 180 days to come up with what they thought would be the consequences of turning the United States, getting rid of fiat currency and going to cryptocurrency. It's out there. It's
Right.
gotten, and why it's about control.
It is about control.
And why crypto isn't taken off here, and as far as the way that it should, because it's decentralized. They want to centralize it.
Well, we got to go to a commercial break. We'll be back with Ed Lynch in a few minutes. Thank you.
Text alert! Text alert!
I was receiving letter after letter from the IRS.
I got Mike Vilardi on the phone and I said, Mike, I got a problem.
He took the pressure off my shoulders.
He just made me feel like I had Superman on my side.
Trust me, he's the man to go to.
IRS problems? I'm Mike Vilardi, enrolled agent. I can help. My company, Winning Tax Solutions, has always gotten our clients the best possible results. Visit us at winningtaxsolutions.com or call us today.
If your family is suffering from inflation and high costs caused by Lois Frankel's reckless policies, Republican Dan Franzese is clearly your best choice for Congress. Dan is a successful businessman who understands finance and economics. He's not a politician. Dan grew up blue collar and knows how tough inflation is on working families. Dan Franzese will go to Washington and fight the liberals who are killing us with inflation. Dan Franzese for Congress.
I'm Dan Franzese, and I approve this message.
I grew up in a home where principles and values were very strong. We had the opportunity to gather 1.5 million people to stand up and be the voice for our children. As an American, I will be your new voice, and I will stand up for the integrity of our children. This November 8th, vote for me, Dorcas Hernandez, running for State Representative District 92.
You've been watching the Political Power Hour with Mike Vilardi. For more information, email us at mikevilardi@gmail.com. That's Vilardi with one L. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. We're back with Ed Lynch. Ed, let's talk about the new Inflation Reduction Act.
The oxymoron, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like jumbo shrimp.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So I know a bit about economics and finance. Like I said, I have a master's in that thing.
Right.
And I do not need to have that degree,
Right.
which I paid for, by the way,
Right.
out of my own pocket.
Right.
Yeah, and by the way, I want my money back
Right.
from years ago, 30 years ago. I want it back, give it back. So anytime, economics 101, inflation is caused by an overabundance of currency,
Right.
more currency than there is, and than there was, and a high demand but low supply of goods.
Right.
So now we're going to put $700 billion into the economy.
Right.
That's going to increase inflation.
Exactly.
Everybody has said that, but they call it the Inflation Reduction Act. So I guess maybe it's going to go. I don't know. It's kind of like saying the Summer Snow Act. I guess
Right.
if you say that, it will snow in the summer.
But they're going to have those 87,000 IRS agents to take more money away from the middle class, the wealthy, and even the poor.
So Janet Yellen came out and she almost accidentally told the truth because they're saying it's not going to affect anyone making under $400,000 a year. Not true.
Not true.
Janet
Not true.
Yellen said that proportionally speaking, it will remain the same. So anyone who's being audited at the rate that they're being audited now that's making under $400,000 a year, that rate will not increase. Therefore, let's say they're 20%
Right.
of people making under $400,000 a year, they're 20% of the population of people that are audited every year. That will not go below 20%. But now you just doubled the number of IRS agents.
Right.
So in order to keep that 20%, you're doubling the amount of people that you're
Right.
auditing. So, I mean, I don't know what people don't understand about that. Yet they're so hell-bent on supporting an administration, and you know me, I will call a spade no matter who.
Absolutely.
Republican, Democrat, I don't give a crap who it is. But the truth of the matter is, these people are so hell-bent on following blindly whatever it is their leaders are telling them that they're like lambs to a slaughter, except they're walking themselves there. They're just too damn stupid pretty much to vote, to be honest with you, if they can't understand that if we increase the amount of supply of money into the economy, that inflation will continue to go up.
Right.
It's making me crazy that people don't understand that. We still have supply chain issues, so demand is going to continue to be high. Demand high, more money in the economy, money is worth less. Now the money is worth less, inflation continues to stay up.
Now, how about the new regulations that are going to artificially keep gasoline higher than it should be come January when they get this whole thing after the election, of course? We're going to be looking at $4 to $5 gasoline again.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that we're going to, but you got to remember, and Democrats are not, and I know, look, I ran as a Republican, so I like to break balls with Democrats.
Right, of course.
You know, I call a spade a spade. But again, I will slam Republicans when they're stupid. Like Lindsey shoves that foot in his mouth so damn deep that sometimes I'm just like, dude, you got to stop. I mean, you know, Ted Cruz, I want to punch the guy half the damn time, but I'd love to have him on the court because he's a brilliant constitutionalist.
He is.
But the truth of the matter is, you know, these guys, it's not rocket science. We don't need to drill. We don't need to open a pipeline. We just need to say that we're going to. The gasoline prices are set on the futures market.
That's right.
Not by oil companies,
Right.
not by the guys that own a gas station sitting on the side of the road.
Right.
It's set by the futures market, 100%. So when people think that prices in the future will go down, prices now go down because they're buying it for less.
Exactly.
And so, and not to get too wonky, but that's what airlines do.
Right.
They can maintain a certain profit margin by buying into the future. So they can set the price of the commodity that they use, gasoline, which is oil. They can set that at a certain rate, and they can guarantee a certain price point as far as their profit margins go. And all we have to do is say that we're opening the pipeline. All we have to do is say that we're going to drill everywhere else. I don't want to hear about the garbage. We have 9,000 permits out there. Yeah, they're crappy permits.
Right.
And who in their right mind, seriously, who the hell is going to invest money to drill and explore and set up all of that stuff when the federal government that regulates you is telling you, but we're going to go after you and put you out of business by the time that you invest that money? That's our goal. And all this electric vehicle bullcrap and everything else. It's horrible. But you expect the oil companies, and they can't, by the way. They have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders to make money, good, bad, or indifferent.
That's correct.
And when the federal government is telling them, we're going to put you out of business, I mean, not for nothing. Would you go and invest in that and invest your money?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I think we haven't had a new processing plant where they process the gasoline.
Yeah, no, we haven't had a new refinery since the 70s.
Yeah, since the 70s. Well, that's despicable.
I think 72.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable.
They don't want it, but they don't want to. I mean, they literally don't want to spend the money if there's going to be no ROI.
Yeah, and you're right. But when you look at what the minerals that go into the batteries, the cobalt, what it takes to mine these things, what it costs, and the pollution,
and to dispose of the batteries.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can't dispose of these batteries. This is not. Someone didn't think this out real clearly.
Well, so gasoline-powered vehicles, diesel-powered vehicles, they have a carbon footprint.
Right.
The carbon footprint for pure EVs is higher than the carbon footprint for gasoline-powered vehicles. Now, the better one really is a hybrid. Smaller batteries, easier to mine, not as corrosive to the environment, not as corrosive to the environment when you're recycling or trashing it, and it uses less gas. That is a really better option.
It's a better option.
But to go pure EV, I mean, my electric's going down at night as it is now. Go to California and Texas where they have brownouts because it got a little warm, so the air conditioners are going north. And now say to the guys, okay, we're going to plug our cars in, all of us, every night. And these idiots by 2035 said that there's going to be no no non-electric
stupid.
vehicles
Right.
that are going to be sold there. You're out of your freaking mind. And you know what? Here's the other thing. You care about the environment. You say that you're all these great people and everything else. The number one killer in the world, medical moneymaker, cancer. The number one cancer is lung cancer.
Right.
It's also been proven that lung cancer, the survival rate of lung cancer is 5%. Survival rate of COVID, 1.2%. 5% survival and 1.2% death rate, rather, of COVID. So 98.2% or 98.8% survival rate.
Right.
Survival rate of cancer, 5%.
Right.
That is something that would make a difference. That is something that will save lives.
Right.
Why don't they do it? Seriously, don't give me the crap that you care about the environment, you care about people, you care about all this stuff. Prove it. Go do something about cigarettes. By the way, I like smoking a cigar now and then.
Right.
But not only that, secondhand smoke kills people.
It does.
70% of the people that die of lung cancer are non-smokers. I'm just like, are you out of your freaking mind? So don't give me the bleeding heart liberalism and the crying. You be even across the board, then I'll respect you.
I mean, it's just a tool. I mean, you got John Kerry out there flying all over the world talking about global war. It's a joke.
Yeah, it's pure hypocrisy.
It's pure hypocrisy.
And then you think that, seriously, Obama living on an island, right, on the ocean, and he believes in sea rising? Come on. It's all crap.
And then you got the windmills that are killing more birds than anything else because the birds can't
maybe the
sing.
windmills are fine. They they don't work because you can't maintain them.
No, right.
No, especially where you put them, it's corrosive.
Right, and you can't dispose of them when there's no place.
In order to use solar power for to take care of all of the electrical needs of California, you would have to have enough solar
panels.
What's that?
Solar panels.
Solar panels to cover all of Nevada.
Well.
So, I mean, all you got to do is cover half the country, and then we could provide power for the other half of the country.
Right.
I mean, it's stupid.
Right.
Yeah, we're called the Sunshine State. You know. Right. Seattle, Washington uses more solar energy than the Sunshine State.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's the hypocrisy of politics is absolutely insane, and I just wish people. Again, I'll plug the primal truth.
Right.
That's what I tell people.
Right.
Here's the facts. Call me a liar. Say that I'm wrong. Go look it up yourself.
What is your outlook for the November election? What do you think is going to happen and why?
Well, we're going to win the House back. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Okay.
When push comes to shove, even women that want to have abortions are going to sit there. Well, I don't have that many abortions, but I go to the gas station at least twice a week. So, and that's where people are going to vote. They always vote pocketbooks.
Right, exactly.
So purses or wallets, whatever. And so the House is going to be pretty much hands down. The Senate, on the other hand, they're going to do what they can, and you'll see in the next month or so, they're going to do what they can and start talking about abortion again, really pump that up there so they could say they could get new judges. The only way they could get new judges, because no one's going to really step off the bench now, because Breyer just did. No one else is going to, no conservative.
Right, exactly, right.
So the only way to get new judges, they're going to have to say, well, what we're going to do is we're going to put 13 judges on the bench. We're going to put 11 on the bench, whatever it is.
They'll never get that passed.
And that's what they're going to push in order to try to keep the Senate. I think that we're going to eke out the Senate, but we're still not going to have anything where we can deal with the filibuster. So the filibuster will still be in place, and Republicans are going to do the same thing that Democrats are doing now, which is the same thing Republicans did before, which is make sure the filibuster stays in place because neither side wants to sit there and screw over the other side so much that they're going to get screwed over when they're out of power.
Right. Well, that's how Trump put 3 Supreme Court justices because of Harry Reid. In 2012, he decided to change the rules for getting judges pushed. He told McConnell to go F himself. And McConnell says,
and they paid the price for it.
They paid the price for it.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Oh, and by the way, anyone that doesn't understand that Merrick Garland is so butthurt from the fact that he's not on the bench right now, that that's why he's going after Trump and the Republicans. I mean, seriously, if you don't understand that, you're really too stupid to vote. I mean, please do not vote. Just stay home. I'll be like Charlie Crist. And Charlie, never count Charlie out. Charlie is a brilliant politician. Now, that's also an oxymoron. But the thing is, for Charlie to come out and say, if you support Ron and everything he stands for, no, I don't even want your vote. Well, guess what, Charlie? You ain't going to get it. And now, for the first time in history, Florida's got more Republicans than Democrats. So, I mean, that may not have been the brightest shining moment of his political career, but never count Charlie out. And I told you this strategy, I mean, for Charlie to win this race,
Yes,
there is
he
a
did.
strategy.
Yep.
And so Ron's got to make sure when he's running for governor, he's staying for governor.
For governor, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's important. What do you think about two Senate races I want to hit on? One is the one in Pennsylvania with Dr. Oz.
All right, so maybe today I dressed a little bit like, I had last minute notice, so I'm dressing like Fetterman. First of all, the fact that this freak, and I know people will get mad at me saying that, and I just don't give a crap.
He looks like the son of the devil.
Not
that guy.
even that. I mean, I don't care. Maybe he was an athlete. He's not. He lives in his mommy's basement for years and gets an allowance from mommy until he's 45 years old. God bless him. I wish my mom was still alive. Give me an allowance right now. I seriously want that. And then his first big boy house, his sister sells to him for $1. I mean, this guy doesn't have a fiscal cell in his entire body. And given the fact that he could even be close is crazy. Dr. Oz?
Right.
No, the guy was a terrible candidate. Trump should have never pushed him. It was only because of Trump that he got over the finish line there. But quite frankly, he doesn't really live there. Dr. Oz, I mean, he'll sell you a pill that will tell you, look, Mike, you can take this pill, you're going to be freaking one of the, you're going to be Ringo Starr, crazy hair in 5 seconds, even though he knows it's not going to happen.
Right.
That's Dr. Oz. This is our candidate. The other one, I don't know if you want to touch on this one, but Herschel Walker, literally,
was the second one. Yes,
he is our Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And I know I like football guys. I'm a football guy. I know a lot of professional guys. We all, and I got to tell you something. He got hit in the head too many times, and he's got so much baggage on him. And look, everyone does.
Right.
When I ran for Congress, I was really surprised that they didn't just assassinate me. But the truth of the matter is, Herschel's not the best candidate. And quite frankly, except for the fact that he'll just be a rubber stamp, but at least for our side, I don't want anyone like that. I mean, I don't want anyone on our side. I don't want our own AOC. I literally don't.
Right.
We need no AOCs in Congress, like none of them.
I agree.
And so those are two bad races, and what they'll do though is they will give an indication out of the election, even though we're going to win the House back. It'll give an indication out of the election of how it's going to be as far as the temperament with Democrats and whether they feel that they can actually make a push for the presidential run. But right now, there's no presidential candidates on the Dem side.
I agree with you there too. They don't have a very
who they're grooming? They're grooming Newsom.
Horrible candidate again.
Good-looking guy, California, couldn't be more pro-liberal. They're grooming him.
Right, but he also got recalled. I mean,
but he made it. He's a survivor.
Well, what's interesting about a recall election? People were going to the polls and they were told they already voted. What does that tell you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to say it doesn't happen.
Right.
But guess what? If you get out there in enough numbers, there's nothing you can do. Call it cheating, call it whatever the hell you want.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is there is nothing that you can do to overcome an overpowering force.
Right.
And neither party has that, and neither party wants that. And that's just the truth. Look, it doesn't matter which side of the aisle we're being screwed from. It's not fun either way.
Right.
And we get screwed from both sides of the aisle every single time. Do you think this deficit just happened? And again, forget deficit spending. That's all another crazy, stupid thing. Economics 101. Here it is. If I say my budget is $100, and I spend $100, I'm at a zero deficit.
Right.
If I say my budget is $100, because that's all I have, but then I say, I'm changing that. My deficit is $200. And when I spend $100, I spent all of my money. I can't sit there and say, but I did not have a deficit. Right. And that's what they tell us.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to look what the real number is? The real number is the debt. And that number keeps going up. Right. And you could tell me, look, we're deficit neutral. Well, how come our debt went up, you moron? Because we said the deficit would be higher. No. That's all crap. I mean, these guys, it's terrible what these guys do to us.
Well, let's talk about that because that's so important. We need a balanced budget amendment.
No, it's not going to happen. They can't steal. We have one in Florida. We have a, $32 billion budget surplus.
Yeah,
Florida, Ron can't lose this election, knock on wood. Ron is a freaking superhero. He killed it with COVID. The economy is doing well here in Florida.
Absolutely.
The numbers have boosted up. Our real estate prices are gone up.
Right.
Everybody is happy here in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, except if you're renting, because the rents have gone through the
Yeah,
roof.
rents have gone up, but you know what? It's still a good state to live, and and it's paradise.
It's a great. Okay, well, we got to cut to a commercial break right now, and we'll be back with Ed Lynch.
Text alert! Text alert!
I was receiving letter after letter from the IRS.
I got Mike Vilardi on the phone and I said, Mike, I got a problem.
He took the pressure off my shoulders.
He just made me feel like I had Superman on my side.
Trust me, he's the man to go to.
IRS problems? I'm Mike Vilardi, enrolled agent. I can help. My company, Winning Tax Solutions, has always gotten our clients the best possible results. Visit us at winningtaxsolutions.com or call us today.
If your family is suffering from inflation and high costs caused by Lois Frankel's reckless policies, Republican Dan Franzese is clearly your best choice for Congress. Dan is a successful businessman who understands finance and economics. He's not a politician. Dan grew up blue collar and knows how tough inflation is on working families. Dan Franzese will go to Washington and fight the liberals who are killing us with inflation. Dan Franzese for Congress.
I'm Dan Franzese, and I approve this message.
I grew up in a home where principles and values were very strong. We had the opportunity to gather
You've been watching the Political Power Hour with Mike Vilardi. For more information, email us at mikevilardi@gmail.com. That's Vilardi with one L. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. I'm back here with Ed Lynch. We're going to talk about the student loan forgiveness of Joe Biden, which he just announced. What do you think, Ed?
Yeah, stupid. Monumentally stupid. I said it earlier. I want my money back. I mean, the truth of the matter is, you took out a freaking loan.
Right, exactly.
It's not my fault you decided to party, and I mean, they're not setting up philosophy factories anywhere where you're going to use that degree in philosophy for anything, which, by the way, is one of my favorite topics. But the truth of the matter is, to sit there, and first of all, it's not going to be, it won't pass the muster. Pass muster when you're talking constitutionally
exactly.
speaking.
It's not
because
constitutional.
you have people within the same class that are not going to qualify for it.
Right.
And here's the other thing. In 4 years, same problem. We have literally the same problem, which we were just talking about. That's what's going to happen with the debt. You're just going to forgive it.
Yeah. How do you get out of $30 trillion worth of debt?
Well, you don't. But here's the fun part. So everyone knows, and I won't say this because it's your show, but the thing is, if I was talking to someone that didn't know, I would say to them, everyone knows that China holds most of our debt.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then England holds a bunch of it, and Japan holds a bunch of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No. China's like 5% of our debt. The number one holder of U.S. debt, the American taxpayer, and the Federal Reserve. That's who holds all of our debt. So at any time the Fed, by the way, they should be gone anyway, but at any time the Fed could just go, okay, we're out of business. We forgive the debt, 100%. So that portion is going to be done, and now you just have American taxpayers. And look, the government's so used to screwing American taxpayers over. What do they care if they screw them over a little bit more? I mean, think about the college when you're paying off these student loans. Most of the people, and talk about racist.
Right.
More white kids, middle-class white kids, go to college than poor black kids.
Right.
And so that means disproportionately, middle-class white kids are going to benefit from this more than poor black kids.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's racist, I guess. I don't know, Dems are putting up a racist thing, but look, Biden couldn't be more racist anyway. I mean, seriously, the guy is like seriously racist. I mean, his kids are going to live in a, what do you call it, the racist jungle or? Right. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, this guy, he even said, well, there's the.
Well, he gave a tremendous speech at Robert Byrd's funeral. I mean, Robert Byrd, who was the Ku Klux Klan member, senator, that was Joe Biden's idol.
Yes, Hillary, but Joe Manchin was there too. Holding hands with them and the whole deal. Yeah, so no, it's crazy. But I mean, to sit there and think that that's a good idea, that is nothing more, unequivocally, 100%, nothing more than buying young votes.
That's all it's.
That's what it is. I mean, we got to be able to call a spade a spade. I mean, how could you not see that?
Right. And that's a desperate attempt on the Democratic Party trying to save the House, I think.
Yeah.
That's what
because they're going to come out and say, look, Republic. I mean, they're doing it right now with the one bill, the Inflation Reduction Act. where they're saying that they put some veterans benefits in it. So what they do is they'll put one good thing in there. I always tell everyone it's the Don't Kick Puppy Act.
Right, exactly.
Even though in the bill it says go out and kick every puppy you could find, it doesn't matter. It says Don't Kick Puppy Act. So
exactly.
And it's the same thing. They put something in there for veterans so that when someone opposes the bill for the 99% of crap that's in the bill, no, Republicans hate veterans.
Well,
I'm like, this is insane.
Well, think about it. They're going to hire 87,000 IRS agents. Could you believe that they're only going to go after people that make under $400,000?
No, how about billionaires? There's 613 billionaires in our country. Let's see. 87,613. I mean, we're going to put like 40 of them on full time? I mean, this is crazy that they think, but people fall for it every time because they listen to Mika and Joe. Mika and Joe need to go away. Mika is crazy. She even said one time, she goes, look, I can't believe these people are listening. It's our job to tell them what the news is. No, it's not your job to tell people what to think. You know, people need to think for themselves.
Because they're going to go after the credits. They're going to go after the middle class. They're going to have projects like the realtors, right? Because they write off a lot on travel expense.
They're going to go at small business.
Small business,
all
exactly
small
right.
businesses
exactly
are going to
right.
nail.
Right.
You think the big companies care? They're audited all the time anyway. You think Bill Gates cares? He's like, come on in again. Here, have coffee with the guy. Sit in your regular seat.
They can afford the accountants, the lawyers, the army of people necessary to fight the IRS. And most of the people they hire are people like me who were former IRS people that know all the ins and the outs so that they could win.
No, it's literally insane that people think that this is a good thing.
Right.
This is literally the Gestapo coming after you. I mean, I hate saying it like that because, you know, we're in a very Jewish district and, you know, I don't mean to bring up anything sore point, but this is the truth.
It is.
This is the brown shirts going after you. This is the government, and they're doing it to Trump. If they could do it to a former president over some stuff that he has the ability to declassify, and we don't have time to go into all that stuff, and he could do whatever he wants with this stuff. And by the way, he's the only person that can. Hillary couldn't do that.
No, right, exactly.
He can do that.
Right.
And so if they're going after him this hard, and not only that, they went after him, they got caught. The FBI literally got caught saying, yeah, we lied about the whole Steele dossier. We know it's all crap.
Well, let me stop you there. Trump picked Christopher Wray to run the FBI. This guy has done nothing to support him in any way, shape, or form.
Well, all right, and here's the thing. I don't like Trump because he's a good guy.
Right.
He might be a bit of an ass sometimes.
Okay.
And I'd like to break his thumbs when he's tweeting.
Okay.
I support him because he has a proven track record of what he was able to accomplish while he was in office.
Right.
I don't support people because of what side of the aisle they're on.
Right.
I never hired anyone in any of my companies and said, well, you Democrat or Republican?
Right.
Do you cheat on your wife? Do you drink too much? Do you smoke pot? Do you any of these things? Never asked that. The question I ask them every time, can you do the job?
Exactly.
If they
That's
said
what
yes,
counts.
I hired them.
Right. That's
and
what
that's
counts.
what we got to understand.
Exactly.
Stop idol worshiping. First
Right,
of all these
exactly.
politicians are scumbags. Stop idol worshiping all of them. Understand they work for you.
Right.
They are your public servant.
Exactly.
That means they need
That's
to kiss
true.
your butt. And if not, you need to vote them out of office.
Right.
But, you know, that doesn't happen.
Well, we have 2 minutes left on the show. How would you like to close, and what would you like to talk about before we end?
No, I don't care. We have the Primal Truth podcast.
Yes, tell us
You want to
about
hear
it.
me talk like this all the time, maybe a little bit worse. I might curse a little bit more, and I might play a lot of sound clips that are really kind of funny to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I do things to entertain me.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then other than that, look, you're going to need Mike. Get involved with freaking Mike. He's 87,000 IRS agents.
Yes, that's
he's gonna
true.
He's going to hire me. I'm going to go to him for a job.
Yes, right.
Yeah, you're going to go after all these guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
gonna-
just get out and vote. Be involved. Look at the truth. Look for the truth. Hunger, yearn for it. It's literally out there. Don't listen to anybody else. Look the stuff up yourself. Everything I tell you, by the way, is the truth. It's the primal truth.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, call me a liar. Doubt me. Question me. Question the people, everyone, and then look it up for yourself. Because the answers are all right there. They have to, by law, put all of the words that will tell you all of the answers right there. You just have to not be lazy and look for it.
No, that's true. Do you think this is going to be one of the most interesting elections of all time?
Everyone. Every election cycle we hear, this is the most important election cycle of our lifetime.
Right.
And every single time, they're right. Because we're kicking that can down the road. We are getting progressively, and I'm not making a pun, we literally are getting progressively worse and worse and worse. When you got freaking girls that say they're boys and boys that say they're girls, you got this whole wokeness garbage and everything else.
Exactly.
When you've got this going on there and you're allowed to change your gender in school and all of that crap, look, there's men, there's women. That's who God put, Adam and Eve.
Right.
Everyone else, they're invented by the devil.
Right.
They're invented by whoever else. I don't know who else invented these people. They're invented by freaks. Yeah, you're either a chick or a dude. That's it.
And people could identify as a white male can identify as a black woman, and I mean it's so crazy and ludicrous.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine that people fall into this.
Yeah. No, it's just it's depravity. I mean, it is. And it's giving people enough rope to hang themselves. Yeah. And unfortunately, the public that we have that wants to stay uninformed or follow the wokeness, or even the guys on the far right, the people that they have, they give them enough rope to literally hang themselves, and they do. And they're brilliant at it.
Thank you for being on the
Oh, my pleasure always to hang out with you.
And thank you for watching. Till next week. I'm Mike Vilardi. Thank you.
Text alert! Text alert!
I was receiving letter after letter from the IRS.
I got Mike Vilardi on the phone and I said, Mike, I got a problem.
He took the pressure off my shoulders.
He just made me feel like I had Superman on my side.
Trust me, he's the man to go to.
IRS problems? I'm Mike Vilardi, enrolled agent. I can help. My company, Winning Tax Solutions, has always gotten our clients the best possible results. Visit us at winningtaxsolutions.com or call us today.
If your family is suffering from inflation and high costs caused by Lois Frankel's reckless policies, Republican Dan Franzese is clearly your best choice for Congress. Dan is a successful businessman who understands finance and economics. He's not a politician. Dan grew up blue collar and knows how tough inflation is on working families. Dan Franzese will go to Washington and fight the liberals who are killing us with inflation. Dan Franzese for Congress.
I'm Dan Franzese, and I approve this message.
I grew up in a home where principles and values were very strong. We had the opportunity to gather 1.5 million people to stand up and be the voice for our children. As an American, I will be your new voice, and I will stand up for the integrity of our children. This November 8th, vote for me, Dorcas Hernandez, running for State Representative District 92.
Thank you for watching the Political Power Hour with your host, Michael Vilardi. If you would like to see a particular candidate on our show, please email us at michaelvilardi@gmail.com. That's one L in Vilardi. We will see you next week.